day, everyone. I am Janeth Boyras from Group 7, together with my groupmates, Ms. Jhamaica Beroy, Ms. Joan Palmero, and Ms. Rina Mae Pasilbas. In this video, we will tackle the nature of portfolio assessment. But before that, let us know the learning objective of this topic. The learning objectives of this topic is at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to plan portfolio assessment tools of a given subject or course. So what is an assessment?
Assessment, as part of instruction, provides useful information on student learning outcomes. In recent years, another technique of assessing achievement has emerged as an alternative assessment over the use of conventional forms of testing. This method is portfolio assessment, which has captured the attention of many educators as it has become an important addition to the repertoire of performance assessment. In this chapter, identifies essential characteristics of portfolio as it examines the principles, purposes, types, and elements needed for its effective planning as an assessment tool. The practice of developing portfolio has been widely used in a number of fields for many years, such as in architecture, advertising, art, and photography. This includes person's best work. In the field of education, portfolio has become widely used in the basic and tertiary level, which is utilized as one of the many procedures for formally assessing students. It has become very useful in developing creativity and talents of the students, allowing them to support the claim that have achieved learning outcomes. So the purpose of portfolio. Portfolio is a systematic process and purposeful collection of student work to document the student learning progress, efforts, and achievement toward the attainment of learning outcomes. It is a systematic process that follows a well-organized collection of product of student work. There are guidelines which are given to be satisfied by the students for the purpose of continuous evaluation and the reflection of the work. Moreover, portfolio has a clear reason why students' work must be presented and serve its purpose as well. Portfolio is a purposeful, organized collection of evidence that demonstrates a person's knowledge, skills, abilities, or disposition. The term portfolio implies that from a larger set of evidence or artifact, a portable subset of these artifacts is collected and displayed to another because they tell a specific story. According to Boyras and Kobizin of 2003, portfolio is a planned collection of learner achievement that documents what a student has accomplished and the steps taken to get there. The collection represents a collaborative effort among teacher and the learner to decide on portfolio purpose, content, and evaluation criteria. So, this has become a turning point of using portfolio as an alternative assessment tool other than traditional testing.
Why use portfolio? Portfolios can be used for many purposes. The utilization of portfolio should be identified before the collection of the work. As the teacher educator, it is useful in an academic setting which demonstrate knowledge attained in a given class or throughout the school career. According to Johnson & Johnson 2002, who gave a comprehensive discussion on the uses of portfolio. So we have here 5 uses. The first use is portfolios give students the opportunity to direct their own learning. But how? So in creating a portfolio, students can, first, document their efforts, achievements, development, and growth in knowledge, skills, expressions, and attitudes. Second, use a variety of learning styles, modalities, and intelligence. Third, they can assist their own learning and decide which items best represents their achievement and growth. Fourth, or the last one, is set their future learning goals. So, with this, portfolios make the students as part of the assessment process by requiring them to reflect and analyze their own work. It gives them the chance to think about why do certain things in class and to consider what worked or what didn't. It encourages them to become more self-aware about their learning and to engage in some classroom research. It provides a means of reviewing their priorities, practices, and preferences. Second is, portfolios can be useful to determine students' level of achievement. Portfolios allow students to present a holistic view of their academic achievement, skills, and outcomes. Also, portfolios allow students to present their work over a period of time and show their progress in achieving learning outcomes. So, the portfolios is useful because it documents a student's accumulated efforts and learning over time. They provide useful information on student progress and skill mastery. So from that data, in combination with student reflection, it gives useful information on how each student learns and what is essential to him or her during the learning process. The third one is portfolios can be used to understand how students think, reason, organize, investigate, and communicate. Portfolios can provide insight into students' reasoning and intellectual competencies by documenting students' progression of thought and work in achieving their learning goals. So how can teachers understand students by using portfolio? Through documenting students' progress by portfolio assessment, because it allows students to reflect on their actual performance, to demonstrate their weak and strong domains, to track their development throughout the learning process, and to motivate students to take responsibility for their own learning. So in this method, the teachers could observe how students think, reason out, organize, and investigate, and communicate with everyone. The fourth one is, portfolios can be used to communicate students' efforts, progress towards accomplishing learning goals, and accomplishments. Portfolios allow students to present their work as a whole in relation to standards and criteria to peers, teachers, parents, college administrations, officers, and so forth. According to them, portfolio provides instructors, parents, and even the student with one more dependable and dynamic data on students. So in addition, adopting this evaluation approach in primary school gives teachers with clear information about their students' strengths and weaknesses, as well as in assisting them in planning their instructional progress. So thus, portfolios can help students reflect on where they started in a course, how they progressed, and where they ended up at the end of the school year because they show learning improvement across time. Lastly, the number 5, portfolios can be used to evaluate and improve curriculum and instruction. How? So portfolios provide a broad view on the effectiveness of the curriculum and thereby allowing teachers to improve and enhance their instructional methods and curriculum materials. So by evaluating programs with personalized or flexible goals or outcomes, within a program aimed at improving children's social skills, for example, some aggressive children may need to become less aggressive while other children may need to become more assertive. So each child's portfolio evaluation would be tailored to his or her specific requirements and objectives. So by allowing for the evaluation of some of the most difficult and significant elements of a variety of constructions, rather than just the ones that are easiest to measure, it could improve instructional methods and curriculum materials. Basically, one big contribution of portfolio is to give the students the chance to reflect and revisit their performances over time. So life in school is an ongoing of submitting paperwork, productions, and performances. So each day, students a variety of tasks which measures the different learners' cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains, thus collecting the students' work, retain all these experiences, subsequent reflection, and analysis. So what are the differences in assessment outcomes between portfolios and standardized testing practices? According According to PopHum 2011, based on the table, these are the differences of assessment outcomes between portfolios and standardized testing practices. In portfolio, the range of reading and writing students are engaged in, while in testing, it assesses students across a limited range of reading and writing assignments which may not match what students do. Second, in portfolio, it engages students in assessing their progress or accomplishments and establishing ongoing learning goals, while in testing, it mechanically scored or scored by teachers who have little input. Third, in portfolio, it measures each student's achievement while allowing for individual differences between students, and in testing, it assesses all students in the same dimension. Fourth, portfolio represents a collaborative approach to assess, while in testing, assessment process is not collaborative. Fifth, portfolio has a goal of student self-assessment, while in testing, student assessment is not a goal. Sixth, portfolio addresses improvement, effort, and achievement, while testing addresses achievement only. Lastly, in portfolio, links assessment and teaching to learning, while in testing, separates learning, testing, and teaching. Portfolios include items such as student compositions in the form of essays, reports, and stories, presentations such as observations, research, and projects, narrative and anecdotal records, rating scales, rubrics, self-reflection, and checklists, visual arts such as photofolio, drawings, and paintings, performances as product, group work, and processes such as show your work problems, stages of writing a poem or a song. Portfolios have the same basic function and idea as they do in the classroom, which is they collect part of students' performances or product that demonstrate accomplishment or improvement over time. Depending on the goals and objective of the evaluation to be measured, these may be employed. As a result, in the collection process, teachers should be guided by the specific aims.
Let's talk about the characteristics of a portfolio. First, learning outcomes should define what to include and how to utilize a portfolio. There should be a clear reason of what to include and how the portfolio is to be utilized. Here's an example of a portfolio that reflects students' achievements in a particular subject area. So, in this example, a portfolio in mathematics has points of focus. Second, there should be a systematic and organized collection of the students' work. Gathering of pieces of work should make a sample of the students' work and not as exhaustive collection. So the third characteristics of a portfolio. So a portfolio typically identifies the students' strengths. So a portfolio provides students the opportunity to show what they can do. This also encourages students to submit examples of their best work. So a portfolio also encourages students to become a reflective learners and develop skills in evaluating strengths and weaknesses of their work. So for the fourth characteristics of a portfolio is a portfolio actively involves students in the evaluation process. This means that student reflection and self-evaluation develop students' awareness of their own progress and performance in the classroom. The last characteristics of a portfolio is a portfolio assessment facilitates communication of students' achievement to others. This means that a portfolio provides an opportunity to have a dialogue from their teacher and with classmates and also develop the social skills of the students. A portfolio also provides teacher and students with an opportunities to collaborate and reflect on students' progress. So that's all for the characteristics of a portfolio. Now let's move on to the types of portfolio. So there are different types of portfolio you will encounter in assessing the performance approach in your classroom. This is depending on the purpose of the and the context of the portfolio, which are aligned to the learning competencies of the course of study. So first is the showcase portfolio. So we already have the idea of what is showcase portfolio is. So because this portfolio shows the best of the students' best work, and also this type of portfolio is based on students' personal criteria rather than the criteria of their teacher. So in this type of portfolio, students select their best work and reflect thoughtfully on its quality. Next is the documentation portfolio. So this documentation portfolio displays the changes and accomplishments related to academic performance over time. The assembled work sample is to provide evidence about the students' growth, which also provides meaningful opportunities for self-evaluation of the students, like for example, a scrapbook of information. Third type of portfolio is the process portfolio. The primary goal of this portfolio is to show the steps and or the results of a completed project or a task. This is very useful because the final product does not always show the skills and knowledge that the learners or students use in completing the project. But by asking students to provide evidences of their work along the way, the teachers can see both strengths and weaknesses in their thinking process and the skills that the students use. The fourth type of portfolio is the product portfolio. This is similar to the process portfolio except that its focus is on the end product rather than the process on which the product was developed. In this type of portfolio, there is a little or no information about the process that was used in crafting the product. But on the other hand, this type of portfolio contains the final product and the detailed explanations of each part of the final product. Type of portfolio is a standard-based portfolio. This collects evidence that links students' achievement to particular learning standards. It focuses on specific standards that are predetermined by the teacher and discussed to the students at the start of the school year. This type of portfolio is very familiar to us.
Three elements of portfolio. The contents of portfolio may be determined by the students who decide what to include in their portfolio. The cooperative learning group, their classmates who can recommend what to include in the portfolio, and the teacher, school, or the division who can specify work samples and components to be included in the portfolio. It could be an essay or photographs and other documents which strengthen the students' learning outcomes. The following table is the example of the best works portfolio in the different field of studies. The best works portfolio. We have subject area, individual, student, and cooperative group. We have science, the best solution to a scientific problem posed by an instructor, review of a scientific article, work conducted, original hypothesis formulated, position paper on a scientific issue, log or journal entry from a long-term experiment. And the best scientific experiment conducted, project completed, laboratory. The next subject is mathematics. The best solution to a problem posed by the instructor, description of how to solve mathematical problem, review of a mathematics article, biography of mathematician, original mathematics theory developed, or photo, diagram, concept, map of mathematical idea investigated. The best project completed, small business plan, and initiated. Language arts. The best compositions in a variety of styles, expository, humor, or satire. Creative, we have poetry, drama, and short story. In journalistic, we have reporting, editorial, columnist, reviewer, and advertising copy. The best dramatic production, video project, TV broadcast, newspaper, advertising display. Social studies, the best historical research paper, opinion essay on historical issue, commentary in current event, original historical theory, review of a historical biography, account of academic controversy participated in. We have the best community survey paper resulting from academic controversy, oral history compilation, multidimensional analysis of historical event, press corps interview with historical figure. Fine arts, the best creative products such as drawings, paintings, sculptures, poetry, poems, dramatic performance. The best creative products such as murals, plays written and performed, inventions thought of and built. But generally, portfolio has its distinct elements which are expected and included from the outputs of students. We have number one, cover sheet. This creatively includes the nature of the students or group work and could be in a form of letter. So in this table, this is called the final portfolio. We have our name, the group or the group name, grade, year and level, subject or course, purpose, the date and the section. Then we have to input the type of portfolio. In the 3 columns, we have entries, scores, and comments or suggestions. Then the bottom of it is the total grade. Then we have also in this table, we have the recommendations, the suggested future goals, the final portfolio grade, and the name of the evaluator. Number 2, table of contents. This includes the title of each work sample and its page number. So we have number 3, work samples. These are entries which are to be included in the portfolio which can be categorized as core, which is samples which are needed to include, and optional, which is students' preference on what to include. The core are the basic elements required for each student and serves as basis for decision in assessing the student's work. On the other hand, the optional entries allow the folder to represent creativity and uniqueness of each student. In the introduction of the work samples, it is a must to include the rationale, explaining what work samples are included, why each one is significant, and how they are all fit together in a holistic view of the student's or group's work. Number 4, dates of all sample works to facilitate evidence of growth over time. We have number 5, drafts of the written products or even the seminal attempts in writing the write-ups for the portfolio and the revised version based on the corrected versions. We have number 6, self-assessment. This is written by the student or the group members, which could be in terms of self-reflection and analysis or a form of insights. Teacher may include questions which can facilitate the assessment of the students. Number 7, future goals. This is based on students or groups' current achievements, interests, and progress. We have the last, which is number 8, others, comments, and assessments. This may came from the teacher, cooperative learning groups, and other interested parties such as the parents. That would be all. Thank you.
Do you have any questions or clarifications? If none, that will be the end of our discussion, which is entitled Nature of Portfolio Assessment. Thank you for listening and God bless.